Quick question. How much do you spend on subscriptions every month? Get an actual number in your head. When C+R Research asked American consumers that exact question, the average guess was $86 a month. Then researchers had people pull up their statements and go through them line by line. The real average was $219 a month. Not a little off, 2.5 times off. And 42% of people discovered at least one subscription they were still paying for and had completely forgotten existed. That gap between what you think you pay and what you actually pay is not an accident, and it is not a character flaw. It is a business model, one of the most quietly profitable ever built. Today on Mind Over Money, negative option economics, the science of engineering your forgetting, and why the most profitable customer in the modern economy is the one who stopped paying attention. First, appreciate how big this got. 20 years ago, you bought software once, owned your movies, and paid the gym when you showed up. Today, the software rents monthly. The movies stream across 4 apps, and your car might charge a subscription for hardware already bolted into it. BMW briefly sold heated seats physically installed in the vehicle, for $18 a month, before backlash killed the program in 2023. Zuora's Subscription Economy Index tracked subscription businesses growing several times faster than S&P 500 company revenues for over a decade, and UBS projected the subscription economy would reach roughly $1.5 trillion by 2025. Companies did not fall in love with this model by accident. Recurring revenue is predictable, Wall Street pays a premium for it, and, as we are about to see, a meaningful slice of it arrives from customers who are not actually using the product at all. The legal engine underneath all of this is called a negative option. In a normal transaction, nothing happens unless you say yes. In a negative option contract, your yes is permanent and automatic, and it keeps executing forever until you actively say no. Your silence is the purchase. That flips a switch psychologists have documented for decades: status quo bias. In 1988, economists William Samuelson and Richard Zeckhauser showed that people disproportionately stick with whatever the default option is, even when switching is nearly free and clearly better. Defaults are not neutral. A default is a decision someone else made for you, preloaded to repeat. And in the subscription economy, the default is always the same: keep charging me. How much money does forgetting actually generate? In 2023, economists Liran Einav, Benjamin Klopak, and Neil Mahoney found a way to measure it. They studied millions of credit and debit card records, hunting for a natural experiment: what happens when a card expires or gets replaced after fraud, and every subscription is suddenly forced to ask for your details again. In exactly those months when attention was forced, cancellation rates jumped to several times their normal level. Those customers would have kept paying indefinitely, not because they valued the service, but because they were not looking. The researchers estimated that inattention raises subscription firms' revenues by at least 14% on average. And for some services, the figure was far higher, a multiple of what a fully attentive customer base would ever pay. The oldest, cleanest case study is the gym. In a famous paper literally titled "Paying Not to Go to the Gym," economists Stefano Della Vigna and Ulrika Malmendier tracked thousands of health club members. Members who chose a flat monthly contract around $70 attended, on average, 4.3 times a month, which works out to roughly $17 per visit, while the same clubs offered a $10 pay-per-visit option that most of them ignored. People systematically overestimate their future selves. The modern budget gym industrialized that math. Clubs charging $10 or $15 a month routinely sign up thousands of members for a building that holds a few hundred people at once. A model that only balances because the majority reliably never shows up. You are not buying workouts, you are buying the person you plan to become. And the gym is betting, with excellent data, that it will never meet them. Then there is the front door, the free trial, card required up front, of course. The trial converts silently, and that design exploits a second piece of wiring, what behavioral economist Drazen Prelek calls the pain of paying. Handing over cash activates something in the brain that genuinely resembles pain, and that pain disciplines spending. A stored card charged automatically produces almost none of it. No decision, No checkout moment, no pain, no evaluation. Every renewal is a purchase you never consciously made. Multiply that by roughly a dozen subscriptions, the average Americans count in several industry surveys, and you get a household routing thousands of dollars a year through a channel specifically engineered to slip past the brain's spending alarm. And if you do notice, the exit is engineered too. Designers call the pattern a Roach Motel, easy to get in, hard to get out. Signing up takes one click. Canceling takes a password you forgot, a phone call inside business hours, a chat queue, and a gauntlet of discounted retention offers. Amazon's internal name for its prime cancellation flow was Iliad, after the epic about a decade-long war, and the FTC alleged the process pushed customers through 4 pages, 6 clicks, and 15 options. Every added step is measurable revenue because a predictable percentage of cancelers gives up at each screen, and everyone who gives up keeps paying. Friction that runs in only one direction is not lazy design. It is the product working exactly as intended. Regulators have noticed, with mixed results. In September 2025, Amazon settled the FTC's prime case for $2.5 billion, a $1 billion civil penalty, plus $1.5 billion in refunds to affected customers, one of the largest consumer protection settlements in history. But the FTC's broader click-to-cancel rule, which would have forced every company in America to make canceling as easy as signing up, was struck down by a federal appeals court in July 2025 on procedural grounds, days before it was set to take effect. Some states, California among them, now enforce their own easy cancellation laws, so your mileage depends on where you live. The honest summary: the rules are patchy, enforcement is slow, and the business model iterates faster than the law. Which means the working defense, for now, is not regulation. It is you. Here is why the trap works even on people who know everything you just heard. Your brain runs what behavioral economists call mental accounting, and small recurring charges sit below its evaluation threshold. A $2,600 annual bill triggers scrutiny, maybe a family meeting. The same money, scattered across the month as a dozen charges of $10 or $20, triggers nothing at all. Companies price to that threshold deliberately, 9.99 instead of 10, monthly instead of annually, because a number that small never gets promoted to a real decision. The fix is one multiplication. Every subscription is its monthly price times 12. That 9.99 is a $120 annual purchase. The average $219 monthly stack is over $2,600 a year. Real money by any household standard, hiding in plain sight dressed as pocket change. So, 4 defenses, built to work with your wiring instead of pretending it away. 1. Run the forced audit those economists discovered by accident. Once a quarter, read 1 full month of statements line by line and treat every subscription as cancelled unless it re-justifies itself. You are recreating the card replacement effect deliberately. 2. Route every subscription through 1 dedicated or virtual card, so a single glance shows the whole stack, and killing that card kills the zombies in 1 move. 3. The moment you start a free trial, set a cancellation reminder 2 days before the conversion date, before you finish signing up. 4. Annualize every price out loud before you subscribe, then apply 1 in, 1 out. A new subscription has to replace an old one, never stack on top. Let's land this. The subscription model is not evil for charging monthly, and plenty of subscriptions earn their renewal every single month. The trap is narrower and more deliberate. A growing share of the economy's revenue is engineered to come from inattention, from defaults that never expire, from exits wrapped in friction, and from prices tuned to site just below the threshold where your brain asks questions. The forgetting is the product. Every mechanism in this episode, status quo bias, the pain of paying, mental accounting, ships permanently installed in your head, and entire industries have gotten scientifically good at renting it. You cannot delete the wiring. You can decide how many standing orders it is allowed to sign in your name. This is education, not financial advice, so do your own research before acting on anything here. Next time on The Big Picture, who owns the internet's brain? The land grab for the data that trains every AI model, the scraping lawsuits, the licensing deals, and who actually gets paid. Subscribe so you don't miss it.